again and again.
What are we doing?
The Triple M Grill Team NRL recovery session.
Doing my head in.
For Co Tire. Co Tire will help make your job happen. 13 15 52 or cotire.com.au.
Yes, Sydney's most comprehensive wrap of the weekend of footy every Monday morning at 7 a.m. right here on the Grill Team. It is the NRL recovery session.
And some big results over the weekend. The Storm were the winners, as were the Dogs, the Titans, the Rabbitohs, the Roosters over the Panthers. Big winners, Manly over the Cowboys. The Dragons, an upset last night in the local derby, 16-10 over the Sharkies. But the one I want to talk about firstly, it was the 4 p.m. game yesterday. And the Canberra Raiders got their first win, and what a win it was. 46-6 over the West Tigers. And their record against the West Tigers over the last couple of years has been outstanding. They seem to have the wood on them. But I tell you what, there's real concerns around the Tigers. Their season started so well with a win over South Sydney, but they've really fallen away. Now, we've spoken before, the potential loss of Tedesco, Woods, Moses and Brooks. It would be catastrophic for the Tigers. But the more they lose, the more likely it appears, gentlemen. Now, they've come out and they said, we want to know who the next coach is going to be. What does that mean for Jason Taylor, do you think? What do you think?
I don't think it means... Look, put it this way, I think that the four blokes who are up for contract, their four best players, I think it's affected them dramatically, this contract saga. Do I think Jason Taylor's the right man for the job? Probably. You know, I mean, how many times are we going to see teams keep chopping and changing? One thing I will say about the Tigers is that they're the first team to register 100 points against them in the comp after 3 games. Defence on their behalf is non-existent. And that's how you win rugby league games. At the moment, Rapana yesterday made 3 breaks up the middle of the ruck, and that's worrying signs.
Yeah, real concerns.
Yeah,
Matty, what do you think? I mean, it can mean Jason Taylor. Can you lock Jason Taylor in because we like him, or can we get rid of Jason Taylor? It's one or the other, isn't it?
It's one or the other. There's no doubt. So, basically, if the Tigers go ahead and sign Jason Taylor now to extend him for 3 years, those 4 players either sign or they turn on the hill and walk away. Now, if I'm running the club, I go and sit down with those 4 players and go, right, and unfortunately you don't want all the players to have all the power, but in this situation they appear to have the club snookered. Cool. So you would say to them, well, okay, we need you guys. What do you want? What do you want? This is difficulty of the situation. And it's tough on the club because the club want this side. The more they win, put it this way, as I said, or alternatively, the more they lose, the less likely it appears that they'll stay. But they're the blokes who can control that. And I think it's always damaging for a side to go out with a parachute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they get beat. There's always that that almost excuse. Well, we've got this going on.
You think that the younger blokes, in particular the backs, the Brooks, the Tedescos, and the Moses would be saying to themselves, you know what? This is my team. I want to win more than anything. If we win, the better I look.
Well, Brooks is the one struggling the most, isn't he? He's got no control over that team. Moses is trying his heart out. Tedesco, you can't fault his effort. No. And Aaron Woods is averaging 140 metres a game.
Oh, he's having a dig always.
You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, there's only one player that's not really performing right now.
I mean, they continue, speaking to people, they continue to tell me that that the Roosters are particularly bullish about getting Tedesco.
Yeah.
What do you think? MG, if you had to pick the majority of those players, do you think they'll stay or do you think they'll go?
I think Woods will stay. I think he's kind of the matriarch of the Tigers, and I wouldn't want to see him in another jersey. Now Mickey Orton's at the Roosters.
He only got signed for this year, but you'd re-sign him right now on his form, wouldn't you?
A matriarch, MG, I must point out, is basically been ruled by
of the long
female
hair,
influence.
Patriarch.
Or a patriarch, or Duck Dynasty.
All those sort of things. Knights versus South Sydney Rabbitohs 24-18. Particularly spiteful match. And in particular, there was an incident with George Burgess elbowed Mitch Barnett in the head. Now, George Burgess, he's received 2 weeks, the same as he got when he threw a water bottle. Yeah. And it was a particularly vicious...
How's he not sent off, Matty? How's he not sent off straight away? The referees, they had a look at it. The bloke who completely lost control and sent off Hodgson for 10 minutes, he's listening to the bunker in his ear and you think he's getting all the information. He's seeing the same footage we're seeing. Well, he's got to go. And he gets 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. 10 minutes in the sin bin.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's so soft.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I'm sorry. The referees have been really bad
Your thoughts about 2 weeks suspension for that? I mean, put it this way. If he breaks Barnett's jaws, he gets probably 8 to 12.
That's right, exactly. And look, when he threw the water bottle, that should have been a fine.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, for being,
Yeah,
for
they
being-
didn't have a fine
for
system.
being- for
It
being
would have
silly.
been now.
That was ridiculous,
But
yeah.
for a stray elbow like that, that's 4 to 6 weeks.
It's incredible to think you're getting the same as throwing a water bottle.
He's
isn't it?
lucky those punches he threw straight afterwards didn't connect as
Didn't
well.
connect. No.
Well, I'm just a little disappointed because he might have been picked against the Roosters on Thursday. He could have dropped 6 balls out of 10. What is the story with the Burgess brothers? Even Sam, he was over the line. He dropped the ball on the weekend. He gives away penalties in the ruck all the time. The Burgess brothers, the twins, can't catch the ball anymore.
It's
What's
been,
gone on with them? The
I'd say, Gus-
2014, they were best in the game nearly.
Yeah, I know. Mate, George Bird just really... I mean, Sam got the Clive Churchill medal that night, but George was probably the best player on the field,
Yeah.
without a doubt. It's been very, very strange, hasn't it?
Yeah, very
the
weird.
last 12 months. Yeah, way back on Thursday night, Jesse Bromwich went into the game for the Melbourne Storm with it's a dislocated thumb. They reckon there's a fracture in there somewhere. Semi Thaida's been fined $1,500 for grabbing him by the thumb and giving him a bit of a yank. Now, MG, I'll ask you first. Do injured players need this sort of protection? Or if you go out there injured, are you fair game? Well, I'll have shows you guys first time. In my opinion, if you walk out there with an injury, you're going to get it tested out.
As long as it's not a cheap shot, like if it's a...
That was a cheap shot.
But it's an injury. I mean, it's not as if he's going to...
He's grabbed his thumb that he knows he was out the week before and he's yanked
if
on
I'm
it.
playing against you and you're coming back from a knee injury and you've got your knee strapped up, guess where I'm tackling you? Straight around the knee.
Okay, so if you're tackling me right around the knee, I sort of get that because that's actually what you do in a normal game. But he's actually in the ruck. The tackle's been made. He's then grabbed the thumb and yanked at it.
Yeah.
So that is a cheap shot, isn't it?
Well, as Matty said, like once these are one of their main players, he come back 2 weeks early. Obviously, he's going to have a bit of tenderness around it. You want to win any way you can, I suppose, within the law.
Mate, if you go out there...
Well, it's not within the...
No, well, he got fined, so obviously it's not. But
We'll put it this way.
It's a hard one.
If you go out there carrying an injury, there is absolutely no duty of care or expected duty of care from the opposition.
From the
What about
opponents.
what about the spirit of the game?
Well, I remember my old man. Like,
aren't you
who had
men
his-
that, love the game and love the spirit of it? And
We
so
love
forth?
winning more. The thing about it is, my old man used to remember saying it once. We played the Roosters in a semi-final game, and I cracked my cheekbone the week before, and I said to the old man, I'm going to play. And he's like, well, if you go out there and play, expect that they're going to probably, they're going to hit you there.
Target.
And he said, and he goes, because that's what I'd do. And I said, because that's what, you know what I mean? Because that's what you do. It's the nature. It's the nature.
Did the
of
Roosters
game.
try to hit you in the jaw?
Of course. And that's what, and you expect it. Like they know if a player goes out there, it's like anything. It's like saying, right, that guy's a poor defender, Now, so what we're going to do, we're going to just continually target him.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes with Sam Thaiday, his reputation does precede him. If it was someone else,
He's a grub.
Well-
I'm sorry. I don't know the bloke at all. I hear that he's a lovely bloke. He's funny, da-da-da. But he's third man in at every he's never the first one to have a fight. And then he does stuff like this. Sorry.
Now, what about State of Origin, boys? If we look ahead, we are looking good. I've got to say, we are looking good. We have got a lot of players that can be picked. We'll talk about next week. We'll talk about the back rowers and the forwards because it's going to be hard to pick a number of guys out of that. But if you look at the halves, right, we've got Keary, who is New South
in
Wales.
form.
3 man of the matches in a row.
We've got Mitchell Pearce, who's in terrific form.
great combination.
James Maloney.
Yep.
There is
Wow.
Adam Reynolds. And if you have a look at our stocks at fullback, we've got Tedesco, who I think is an automatic selection. You've got Tom Trbojevic and you've got Moylan. So for mine, you've got to put Moylan in there. Moylan, for mine, would be in the 6. If you've got Moylan in the 6, who do you pick in the 7?
Oh, wow.
So are you locking Moylan in too, MG?
Not just yet. No.
Okay.
Not at 5'8".
I think he's a
I'll go.
must.
I think I'll go with Maloney at 5'8", and maybe have.
Because he's got to be the goal kicker too, right?
Yeah. That's hard. Look, it depends. I think
It's a good situation to have. We haven't necessarily had that lately.
Right, what do you do this? Put it this way. Do you put Tedesco at fullback? Is he an automatic selection? Do you put Tedesco there?
I think at the moment, yes.
Yes. I think,
on the back of his third game last year too.
right, given what Tom Trbojevic is doing,
He's
you
gotta be
put
on the wing.
Trbojevic on the wing.
He's on the wing, no doubt.
Wow.
Big body.
Yeah.
You got him on
He's
the wing.
perfectly fitted.
Oh yeah.
Who were the wingers for Game 3 last year for the?
I think Mansour. I think Josh Mansour. He's out injured, I suppose. So maybe just Tom
He's a
for
great
him.
meter
Tom
reader.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget the other.
Is Tom a meter reader coming back out?
Yeah, he can be.
Just a big
He's
body,
just
mate.
that match winner, isn't he? Yeah,
He's playing so well.
A player like him, you just get him in there somehow.
Yeah.
It's good. As I said, it's a good situation to be in. Right, who's your poor, good, and great for the weekend, MG?
I think poor is obvious. The Tigers yesterday playing without any spirit at the minute, and as soon as they get this sorted out, their contract disputes, the better they'll be.
Exactly the same for me. The poor for the Tigers just, they didn't show up against the Panthers at Campbelltown and then Canberra, where they started on fire again. Looked really good, led 6-0 and then had 40-odd points.
Then he tried their scores from an intercept.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, my poor, I got the Cowboys. I got the Cowboys. I know they had a few out, but mate, and my good is Manly. I've got to give Manly credit there.
Yep.
Manly went up there with a hell of a lot of pressure on their shoulders. Daly Tree Evans, a lot of pressure. Had a shocking start to the game, and I thought, oh, here we go. But mate, he got a 40-20 and really he turned the ship around.
He did. My good's the Titans. I'd forgotten about it a little bit because, of course, it was a little bit later on in the evening, and you're thinking, there's Parramatta without certain players. But no, I thought the Titans were fantastic.
That was one of their most heroic victories at
they got
times.
10 or 11 players in the casualty ward.
The young fullback who had his debut, I really felt really good for him. I think my great was, even though he's a Queenslander, seeing Billy Slater back on the field.
It was great.
It
was terrific. I tell you, I'm going to give St George Illawarra rap the Dragons. Again, you're talking about a club under monumental pressure, coach under pressure, coming up against the Sharks side with their tails in the air, and beat them in the local derby.
Yeah, I had the Dragons as well, just over Manly, because the Cowboys did have a few players out. The Dragons played against the Sharkies and did a fantastic job. So they've had 2 great performances out of 3 now.
Really? I thought your great was going to be a touch judge, Gussie, for the
No, I mean, I actually did really feel for MG and the Panthers. I know, I mean... We've been robbed by bad decisions as well over the seasons. But
everyone does.
And we may have won it anyway, even if that decision had been pulled back. There was still 10 minutes to go. But, yeah, it was a tough one to cop, and I didn't want to throw it in MG's face.
All right, well, it is time, and I have a feeling that may feature today in... Come on, man.
Okay, it's not very often you see referees or referee officials being escorted from the ground from security guards, and it's not very often you see the head of the referees have a press conference the following day.
Come on, man.
That happened on the weekend with the Panthers v the Roosters. I am now getting a tattoo on my body because of it.
Come on, man.
Not that you're pissed off about it.
Not that I'm pissed off about getting Gus Wallen on my body. That's irrespective. But
come on, man.
I just think that we talk about the bunker a lot on the show. If they can judge that Peachy was offside passively from a kick downfield,
that he was,
surely they can go to the bunker and say, well, that was a metre forward, brother.
Come on, man.
That's no try. I know we don't want to stop the game and start the game, but Tony Archer came out yesterday in a press conference and stated that so what? What consolation is
that?
The
touch judge should have got
what,
that right.
What if that's the grand final? Do you say after the grand final, oh, sorry, Penrith, you lost the grand final from our mistakes? It's not good enough.
Come on, man.
Not with the technology we've got. While the bunker's in play, that should have been straight up the stairs. They would have said, no, mate, that's a metre forward.
I look at it and just go to the touch judges. They should hold the touch judge and say, hey, mate, come on.
Yeah.
I know we've got technology and all that sort of stuff, but we do need you to step up and back yourself.
He was in a perfect position.
So what happens now to that touch judge? If players get dropped for playing
He'll be
bad,
dropped. He'll be dropped.
under 20s?
Yeah, he'll get under 20s.
No, he should get A grade.
maybe.
He should get A grade. That's what he should get.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Was it absolutely forward? I thought it might have been out of the back out of the hands.
What would you text me? You said that was forward in NFL.
I thought I was watching the NFL and not the NRL. No, they got it absolutely wrong.
Anyway, that's our recovery show.
I beg your pardon?
What?
I'm pissed off. I don't want to get this out of here.
Come on,